So, following the disastrous series of events that was implementing Seesaw platforms in this game, the recording session had to be cut up into two parts because it just went on way too long. So the previous video, which I somewhat unceremoniously decided to cut in half, covered the basic behavior of when something lands on a seesaw platform, the one end should go up in the air, and this video is going to cover all of the weirdness and all of the edge cases and all of the other ancillary behaviors that need to come along with that. Hopefully by the end of this, they'll work well enough that I can design levels around them, if not being perfectly, physically accurate or robust. Don't look too closely at the code. But in any event, I hope you enjoy watching me slowly lose my mind over the course of this video. Let's finish off Seesaws. Right, it is now tomorrow, and I should hopefully be able to finish what I wanted to do yesterday. I'm surprised that I did not implement gravity in any way, shape, or form in any of these other objects here, but apparently I didn't. So, I'm going to start with blocks, and I'm probably going to write down on Codecks something in the technical debt board. Make all pushable objects respond to gravity. That's definitely a high priority item. Let's give that 5 points of effort, and not sure what milestone to put that down under other than just soon. Anyway, let's see. So the way I'm going to do this, I'm not going to make this completely free. I'm going to have in the idle state a check to see if these blocks are grounded. How are we doing that in NPCs again? I'm pretty sure we're just gonna, move down a small amount. Yeah, we're just moving down a small amount. And, checking for a collision with the world, basically. I'm gonna have to... reference C shapes index 0 and C objects index 0 for this, because NPCs have a single collision shape and object, and these 3D models have multiple. But anyway, I can say in the update event, if we are not grounded, change to the falling state. We can add a falling state. In the falling state, we should probably... how does falling work in NPCs? I am totally just stealing NPC falling code for all of this. Let's see, we can do the Sean Spalding collision code trick for this, can't we? What's the rate of gravity? I think I was looking at this the last time. Alright, so I've got another technical debt note to do this properly later, but player gravity is that value. I'll do the same here. I think the end of this this milestone is going to involve a lot of cleaning up technical debt, but we can say actually, let me think about this. So, for the distance we want to move, first I'll just iterate over the, that should be floor. First I'll iterate over the, the distance that we're going to move in an increment of, the box step size. We can say if not if we don't hit anything, if we don't hit anything over a distance equal to the size of the actual box, we can move and we can decrease our step size. Else we can break out of that loop. Or if you want to make this a little bit like better looking code, we can reverse this. We can check if we should break out first, and then we can, if we don't break, we can update our position. Next, for that remaining distance, actually, you know what I should do? Move first. Then check our positions if a collision is found. We can backtrack. And we'll do a similar thing here. Except the increment size, instead of being the size of the box, will be just a small amount. And really, don't need a for loop for that, really. I also don't really need to update the step after that either, because we're not, like, actually doing anything with that value at the end. Let's see, once we're done with that, we'll change our state back to the default state, the idle state. This will mean that we can't cast on you. Actually, never mind, we can cast on you when you're in the falling state, which might make things interesting. I might have to prohibit that later, or do something else about it. I'll get rid of all these magic numbers in a bit, but anyway, we are going to let's say print out 2 messages for the block has started falling and the block has landed. Hopefully we won't constantly be ping-ponging back and forth between those 2 states. And let's see. Is the game going to work? It does. Okay. We fell through the platform, which is not exactly what I wanted. But the block did indeed fall, and the block did indeed land, and am I not able to, like... Oh, you know what else I do have to do is update collision positions after this. Because that's important. And, that's probably... Okay. The block did land on that thing, and it did trigger the seesaw. I see that when I moved, it fell through it, which is not great. That's a pain. Can I get a better look at that? Also, I don't know exactly how expensive this is going to be. So let's time this whole thing like that. I'm not sure if the jittery feeling was because there's some funny business going on with the rate of falling objects, or because calculating all that took actually quite a lot of time. Okay. Even like... Even this initial distance... that took a lot. Oh, you know what? Probably because we weren't ever moving more than 32 units at a time, so this wasn't like... This wasn't ever doing anything. And instead, when we're moving like, you know, 10 units, we're actually doing this 100 times. So, Let's make our step size for this, let's make our step size for this a quarter of a unit instead of a tenth. Alright, that's still expensive, but respectably so. We're like inside that. We're inside the platform a little bit. And... Oh, I think I know what's going on. So if I were to look at that really slowly... When the other platform goes up in the air, like when I step on the other one, it doesn't ever move the block that's landed on it, like, up any. Alright. And I'm gonna try and look at it again, but at least I can climb on it now. Yeah, okay, so it, the other platform, the other block on the Seesaw, or the platform on the Seesaw was going up. The block that was sitting on top of it was never moving with it. And consequently, it just fell through once the platform finished moving up. So that's an ordinary problem. Let's see. Firstly, I did say I would get rid of this magic number. And I guess we can do integer division to spice things up a little bit there. And here, down here, this magic number is now just 1, so we'll leave that as it is. Alright. Blocks can fall. I'm sure that I'll find ways to clean this up later on. I'll probably generalize at least some of this so that I can just put this in a method and call it from, you know, boulders and barrels and other things that should be able to fall and obey gravity. The next thing I need to do is go back to Seesaws and... Where's Seesaws? I need to go back to Seesaws, and when we move, when we're tilting, anything that's on top of us should also be moved up with the Seesaw platform. So I think the way I'm going to do that is after we update all of our collision positions, let's see, I'm going to check all objects in the world for collision with, for example, the block left and block right and whatever. And this is going to return like all objects that are sitting on top of me, right? Because I think I made that change. Alright, it's not all objects that's colliding with the object that you're checking, it's just one. So if there's ever more than one thing sitting on a platform, then you're kind of out of luck. But if it's not undefined, you are going to want to calculate. Let's see. There's no like delta. Now there's a delta, so we'll keep track of the change in position x, y, z. Okay, so this method returns the ID of the first object that it finds colliding with the object that you pass it in, not an array or anything like that. Which honestly, I feel like it should be that way now, but it's far too late to make a change like that. Anyway. If this is is not equal to undefined. So like if there is an object here, I'm going to want to move it either up or down in accordance with the like where the left block used to be. I'm going to want to do the same thing with the right one, I think. That should also take care of the problem where like the player appears to like bounce off of the platform when they stand on something. Let me actually get a better look at that, see if that still happens. I forget if that still happens or not, because I know I made some changes. Like, if I were to, oops. Yeah, so I hover in the air a little bit. I'm gonna want to keep track of the change in position of the left and the right platform, and the way that I can do that is this thing, index 13, I believe, is going to be the y coordinate in the matrix. Block left delta y, call it previous y, and delta y equals the new value minus the old value. We can do the same thing for the right. Oops. We can do the same thing for the right. And now we should know what the delta x and the delta y of the things on the left and the right platform should be. On left dot actually it's just dot y plus equals block left delta y update the collision positions, and the same thing for the right. Okay, hopefully now if there is anything trying to index a variable which is not an array, okay, do an is array check for that first. Because they're initialized to undefined after all. And this is a reference to an object. To a call object and not to a game maker object. Okay, that's perfect. I guess it would make more sense to check the actual activations and not the things themselves, because those are always going to be in collision with the seesaw. All right. Why? Oh, because that's the player. At least one of those is the player. Line 75, so that's on the right one. That was me. Sometimes you can just feel your code falling apart at your fingers. Does object is ancestor work if, like the object index itself is the object in question. I think it only checks the parent, so you do have to do both of these. If the player like gets pushed up in the air, they'll move that way anyway, because they will get displaced from the floor. There is a stray parentheses there. This is quickly turning into more than I expected it to. It's just one of those days. All right. Now if I'm going to, oops, I'm going to climb up here. What? Oh, on right, on left. Well, we got through half of that. We got through that without crashing at least. Okay, all that and that still didn't work. Okay, so I went and just set the like the collision shape of this activator collision shapes to that of the actual bounding box of the shape and not like some weird sliver at the bottom of their model because yeah, when they're that thin and you're just doing discrete collision checks, you could easily end up in a situation where they just pass through another object. I also feel like we should probably figure out what objects are in collision before we actually update the positions because like when the thing moves, when the platform moves, it could exit collision. It could exit collision of things that it was in collision with earlier, and we will probably want to not have that happen. Let's see. So why is that? Why are we not? Is the player's collision shape like not actually detecting anything? Still feel like that that falling block code is a little bit slower than it should be, and yeah, we're like just not detecting collision with the player anymore. I didn't change anything other than that, did I? Oh, that's dumb. I made the player's activator a sphere with a radius of the player climb nose thing and not a box. That's dumb. Alright, so when I made it bigger, like the center moved to like the center of the player object and the radius stayed the same because we're accidentally... I'm gonna want to set that to player activator collision dot I think it's dot size dot scale. The original position is just a clone of that. Okay, that was awkward. Let's see. This also has the problem of like if I jump, it'll probably... No? Okay. Hang on. Alright. Really though, what do I have to do to, Alright, there's a surprising amount of work to get these hitboxes to be the correct sizes that won't cause problems. I forgot to do the other half of this, which is that, with the player, I'm going to want to... like, actually update the collision positions. Shape.set, shape.whatever. I thought about doing this, and then for some reason I thought I'd better not do this, and then... and then the thing that I needed to do, which is the player to follow the platform when it goes up and down, didn't happen. Okay. This is a, shape.position.y. This is a mess. I feel like a lot of times game devlog videos on YouTube don't show properly when everything all implodes at the same time. Okay. I'm definitely feeling the lag, which means that there's a... Definitely feeling the lag, which means that there's some optimization to be done in the way that positions are being calculated and whatnot, but this is behaving. And there's one last thing that I need to do, which is I would like these blocks to be heavier than the player, and you probably noticed that we don't have any actual physics simulation at all happening here. This is all an illusion. I should give objects that like are not NPCs or the player priority when it comes to tilting things. So first we can commit that change. Next, if I just go into the base entity class and give certain things like a, I don't know, Seesaw mass, I'm just gonna set that to an integer. We can initialize that to like 1, and things like what are some objects? 3D object, barrels, boulders, blocks, the 3 B's. Your seesaw mass can be 2. The barrel's gonna inherit that, right? Alright, so the barrel's seesaw mass is inherited, and the block seesaw mass can also be 2. And now I can, hopefully this is going to be the easy part, right? But so if there's something on one side and not on the other, it'll tilt, right? Missing semicolons. If something's on both, if is left dot reference dot seesaw mass is greater than is right dot, actually, yeah, I'll just write this out the long way. So if the one on the left weighs more, then we will continue to give priority to the left side. If the one on the right weighs more, we can give priority to the right side. And if they have the same seesaw mass, then it can stay balanced. Okay? So now... Oh, lag spikes. Now, when I jump on here, I should be able to not cause that to move because I weigh less than that block. If I jump on this one, it will move. And if I were to spawn a second block rather, what is that? 100 minus 128, because that's the distance I've offset it by. If I were to spawn a second one, it will balance. And boy, this is really expensive for some reason. Okay, I don't like this. I'm not gonna fix this now. I'm not gonna optimize this now. I suspect it has something to do with block gravity. But yeah, there's no way to take control back from the mouse. But if I were to go into the debugger, right, if I were to manually disable mouse capture for input, and if I were to go into the debugger, and I'm not going to do anything about this now, but let's look at the profiler. What is the most expensive part? That's not helpful, debugger. That's still not helpful. I'm almost positive those are blocks, but we're gonna spend a lot of time doing call update position. Okay. Unfortunately, they renamed anonymous methods inside like GameMaker's internal name scheme. Okay, so it's just the fact that we're constantly... It's mostly the fact that we're constantly updating the position of these objects, which is more expensive than it should be. But that's a problem for future me. All right. This raw recording for doing Seesaws took almost 2.5 hours. For the sake of my own sanity, I'm probably going to break this up into 2 videos. I wanted to avoid that, but this just took far longer than it should have. Let's see. So we can say different objects have different masses according to Seesaws. I think I'm going to say pretty much where I stopped instead. I'm going to come back tomorrow. I'm probably just going to cut that off for the first half and make this one the second half. So we'll boy, that was unsatisfying, but we'll make that work. And if nothing else, I hope that this thing's not going according to plan. And for what it's worth, things have mostly gone according to plan in a lot of these videos, which I'm pretty happy about. But this definitely did not go according to plan. We'll check off Seesaws finally after like multiple weeks. Pulleys should be pretty similar to Seesaws, but I don't feel like doing anything hard, so I'm probably gonna do pushable rotors next time. Yeah, I have some better ideas about that, because those should have fewer moving parts, both literally and metaphorically. So I think I'll do that next time. Alright, my name is Michael. I like wizards and dragons and making games. If you want the code for this project, look at the GitHub repository down in the video description. Perhaps you might not want to look too closely at the code that I wrote in this video, because it's a mess. Anyway, I try to post about 2 game dev videos a week, 1 tutorial, and 1 let's make a game. Currently, this monstrosity. Go wishlist Wizarducks, which is the primary project I'm working on, because I do work on games that are not this. Links to the Steam page for that can be found in the video description. I hope you all found this interesting, for some sense of the word interesting, and I will see you all later. Special thanks to Zenjamin, VitroV, Squarecrow, Manta Ray, Game Maker, Edward Holt, and DJ Gibbles for supporting these videos. If you want to contribute to the channel, head on over to the Patreon page down in the video description to join the fun.